Thank you, Richard, for joining us today at NWR. Richard Taylor is CEO of SensOre, ticker S3N. This is a very exciting week for the company after the announcement that they made on Monday, which Richard will happily, I'm sure, run us through. So thank you, Richard, and can't wait to get into this hopefully very informative Q&A session. So Richard, you did come out with a transformative announcement to split your technology and exploration businesses this week. Can you please provide us a brief overview of what's planned?
Yeah, thanks, Aidan, and thanks to NWR for giving the opportunity to talk about what has been a pretty fantastic week for us. We're closed out multiple related deals, which is pretty exciting. About SensOre is that we've been working with big data, geoscience information using machine learning and artificial intelligence to be able to find the special parts of the Earth's crust that host new major deposits. We've done that with a group called Deutsche Rohstoff out of Germany. They've been big on battery critical minerals, particularly lithium, about how they're going to supply the energy transition in Europe and beyond. So we've developed a pretty exciting portfolio of exploration assets with them. It occurred to us that it'd be a great opportunity to be able to flip up that joint venture that we'd created into our headco, and we welcome Deutsche Rohstoff on as a cornerstone 19.9% shareholder in SensOre's parent company at this point. I guess the discussions we had coincided with some soul searching that we were doing at SensOre, looking at some of the statistics around mining technology in our revenue business. We've seen that 83% of mining tech companies are private. Only 17% sit on publicly listed exchanges, and there's much deeper revenue and income and investment streams from being private in this area. So we took the opportunity presented by this transaction to be able to demerge our technology business. It'll be very attractive to venture capital, and we've seen a lot of big deals happen at very high valuations in that area, and it wasn't the same sort of attention that we were getting on the public space. So the exciting thing for SensOre shareholders up until our demerger meeting on the 19th of January is that we will be able to participate in both that private tech space as well as the exploration assets that we have until we demerge at that point in time. There is, as I said, very few opportunities to benefit from the mining technology revolution that's happening at the moment in the listed space. Most of those are reserved for the private sector and the venture capital funds, particularly stuff out of Silicon Valley, which have been getting pretty exciting returns. So what we've done here is really drive ahead with an ambitious, decisive decision to split the businesses, giving SensOre shareholders the 2-for-1, really, an opportunity to participate in the technology in the delisted private company, as well as being able to benefit from the results of the technology. So the discovery at Abbots North, the lithium portfolio we've developed with Deutsche Rohstoff, and all of the new investors coming in to back that exciting project.
Thank you, Richard. Sounds like you guys have been extremely busy, a lot going on. Perhaps just review the sort of timing going forward now over what's obviously going to be another, very busy Boxing and Christmas and New Year's period for you.
Yeah, so when we closed the capital raise, 3 million, just on Friday, and we released the information on Monday. So we're working over the Christmas New Year period to process that, get shareholder approval, be able to work on separating the two companies. For convenience, we've kept the two companies, our technology assets and our exploration assets, separate. So the exercise is relatively straightforward for us to be able to run concurrently those two operations. We also expect that we'll be having, I guess, the technology company will be working very closely with Premier1 Lithium, particularly as a core client, being able to use those big data insights that we get into surface geochemistry all over Australia, North America, Africa, being able to zero in on those special areas and be able to put new projects into that vehicle. So basically, the series of events that we work through, the demerger takes place in January. with the exploration company then completes the placement for the shares that we just recently issued. The 3 million there will happen just after the demerger component. We're also looking for a funding round with the technology company, which will take place sequentially just after the demerger and placement of the new shares in the exploration Premier1 Lithium. And it's been very keenly anticipated by a number of strategic and institutional investors who are now able to invest in us now that we are not listed.
Thanks, Richard. You did touch on it in the first question in the introduction, but the board's obviously thought long and hard about this. Maybe delve into a little bit more detail on the strategic rationale behind the demerger and what upside you sort of see for investors now in both businesses going forward as separate entities.
Yeah, sometimes you get 1 + 1 equaling 3. In other cases, you can create value by splitting the company. And that's what we had in this circumstance. We had a pool of investors who are very excited about the mining technology, who were prohibited from investing in public vehicles. We had a lot of exploration interest in exploring the assets, but people who wanted to see money and dollars going into drilling into the ground and not developing software and DevOps for the computing component. So in order to be able to pull the companies apart and give each of those investor bases an opportunity to participate in what they saw as the most important investment class for them, we've been able to do that through the demerger process. So we think we can unlock quite a bit of value in that process. Our peer comparisons in the technology sector have been trading at 3 to 4 to 5 times revenue. SensOre generated close to $6 million in revenue last financial year, has been tracking around $1.5 million per quarter over that period, plus looking at government and funding from critical minerals and other advantages that have happened in other states. So it's got a very strong growing revenue profile, as well as an exciting group of technologies coming behind it. But also on the exploration front, we needed to be able to raise money to be able to explore the lithium projects, but also some of the battery and critical mineral projects that were in that location beforehand. So in order to be able to do that, the board thought long and hard about it. I think I like the combination of being able to use big data to be able to do exploration. But I think really at the end of the day, we need to give the investors what they want, a pure technology company and a pure exploration play. And that's really in the lithium space at this point in time. And particularly when we've made that discovery at Abbots North, which we'll be drilling early in February.
Thanks, Richard. I know from our conversations for some time now, you've been obviously very excited about your developing exploration portfolio. Some great looking prospects generated by your proprietary exploration technologies. So why should investors now be equally as excited by the new Premier1 Lithium?
Yeah, I think the amazing thing about technology is that we can sift through data that would take people 6 to 12 to 18 months to be able to get the insights to. So when you're looking at lithium, we often talk about the Goldilocks zone, which is the sort of the event that creates most of the fertile lithium pegmatites. So we were able to sift through all of Western Australia. We've done it for the whole continent in many areas, and really narrow down into those components where we want to see lithium. And when we send out our geologists, they're armed with all that knowledge of what they need to be looking for. So we were able to pull together a portfolio by that focus, by talking to companies that maybe had not appreciated the lithium potential. They were very focused on their production or their gold mining operations. We were able to pull together a really prospective area of lithium near major lithium producing assets on similar geological structures. And when we went out in the field, we've been able to cite pegmatites as well as ones that have one of the key aspects that you're looking for in a fertile lithium field, which is the potassium rubidium ratios, which give you the geochemical fingerprint of what can be one of the major deposits in those areas. And we're really excited about Abbots North. It's one of our newest projects, but it's also a previously unrecognized pegmatite field in an area that hasn't hosted major lithium production previously. But when we've been out there, we've found continuous areas along strike of pegmatite that have graded between 0.5% and 1.25% lithium oxide. So we're really excited about Abbots North. It's a straight up dual target. It's in the gold fields. It's got no land access issues like you do in other parts of the world. But we're also working with some of the great partners, particularly around Yalgoo with Venture Minerals and Firetail. Firetail's had some exciting lithium results, and we've been able to work very closely with them to be able to vector towards where those pegmatites might be extended beyond undercover and in different and unrecognised areas, particularly working with some of their hyperspectral data, which has been excellent and exciting to do so. So what you're getting with Premier1 is exposure not only to a straight up drill target with a lot of potential, a lot of blue sky potential at Abbots North, but then also a follow-on portfolio of strategic assets that we'll be doing methodical exploration on over the next 12 months. So altogether, it's a really exciting lithium play for 2024. Aidan, we might just touch on some of the locations of those projects. So you can see in that map on the right that you've got major lithium operations marked out with some of the dots there, Mount Marion, Kathleen Valley, Earl Grey. You can see the structures that host those deposits in the background of there, and some of the areas that we've been able to get into are along have very similar geological settings towards what we can experience in those areas. One of the key parts of our technology is looking at adjacency to structures and being able to see the same patterns in the data that hosts, say, a Mount Marion or a Kathleen Valley or a Greenbushes, and be able to see where those patterns exist in other areas. So we think we're in the right spots. We think there's a lot of opportunity left in WA, and that really WA is going to be a battery powerhouse for the future.
That sounds very exciting, Richard, and you have managed in quite challenging markets to raise new funds from a group of exciting shareholders to pursue some of those prospects. Perhaps provide us a bit of an overview of where that now leaves Premier1 Lithium, the use of those funds, and all importantly for investors, the news flow we should expect now as we enter 2024.
Excellent. Yeah, I think there's great value in our stock at the moment after this capital raise has gone through. You're looking at a cornerstone investor with Deutsche Rohstoff taking that 19.9%. You're looking at a very strong new investment profile from the shareholders who came in on that raise. Currently, market cap post merger before we announced this deal, we're looking around 9 million. We have 3.5 million cash and cash equivalents. If you include the raise, we will not get access to those funds until the demerger is approved by our shareholders. So it is a pretty exciting opportunity to be able to get in at a low cost and get leverage towards those drilling prospects that we've been talking about. You know, the advantages of the projects that we've seen, they're identified by surface geochemistry. They outcrop in places, they're in known gold mining areas. Some of them already have all the agreements and POWs in place to be able to drill immediately. That's why we're progressing very quickly with Abbots North to be able to drill that in February. So all of these projects are not in difficult locations to access, which is very important to the investors who are coming in on this project. We should be able to get a good series of results as we come through the first 6 months, particularly results when we've got soils programs, we've got new field work on and rock chip samples from the pegmatites we've identified, plus a series of air core and RC drilling. So cheap opportunities to be able to drill and validate the targets that have been put together by us. So we're looking forward to a pretty exciting 2024 with really regular and very positive, hopefully, information flow coming in on the back of that. So we're drilling, I guess, Abbots North very much in Q1, very much in February. We've got 3 programs as part of the use of funds for this project. But we're also doing a hell of a lot of work on the other projects to get them up to drill ready stage. So we've found very large areas of pegmatites, not all of them with the fertility signatures, those potassium rubidium ratios we're looking for. but that just means that we can use our smarts and our technology to be able to work out how far away we are from that Goldilocks zone that hosts lithium. So we can be able to work up these other projects pretty quickly in the 2024 period.
Thank you, Richard. Obviously going to be a great start to 2024 for the exploration business, but I know again from our prior conversations that you're equally as excited about the future prospects for SensOre, the technology business. Maybe for investors, again, outline what you hope and expect from that now separate business as it enters 2024.
Yeah, I'm expecting to be able to come out with some very strong news about what we're doing with the technology side, particularly with the support of strategic and a new VC interest. I've got very encouraging signs from clients wanting to come on board from the January and February, March for the first quarter next year. I think we're going to be able to expand the number and range that we're working on. We've got a lot of interest in South Australia and in the Territory. A lot of work we've been doing with the surveys of different areas to be able to unlock new insights from data. And I think we should be able to produce something that is pretty spectacular as we go forward. I mean, we are about artificial intelligence. This is what artificial intelligence is designed for, about seeing patterns in data that it would take either a long time or will be incredibly difficult for humans to be able to do. So I think we're in a sweet spot there, but with AI, geoscience, etc. And we should be able to see the interest from investors to be able to take this on steroids, make it go global. North America is very hot for us, as is Asia, as are other markets that can see the potential of this geoscience information scaled globally.
Richard, sounds like 2024 is going to be a very exciting year for both businesses as they head off in their separate directions. Perhaps wrap up for us as we head into our holidays. The exciting future that you see ahead in 24 and beyond for both businesses now going forward, and what that means, all importantly, for shareholders.
Yeah, we're really excited about the demerger. I think it has been a long work in progress. We've looked at different options to be able to monetize the technology and be able to scale it, attracting the funds that we've seen from companies like FleetSpace or EDN, who attracted $20 to $50 million investments from major institutions into those projects. This is the type of capital, this is the type of exciting growth plan we see for the technology business. Likewise, we see a very close relationship with Premier1 Lithium, which will be developing the lithium assets and the technology that came out of the targets. So I know that the companies that are coming in there, they are the first movers, they are the people who are jumping on board. They're so excited about being able to have the information at their fingertips to make these judgments. And we're looking forward to validating that with a drill bit early in 2024.
Thank you, Richard, for coming on and providing your time to talk to us through this transformative transaction. You've done a fantastic job as a team on both businesses, and I'm sure now with the demerger, the investors will get to see the benefits of that in terms of a re-rate of both of them going forward. So we really look forward to hearing more from you on both businesses through 2024.
Thanks, Aidan, and Merry Christmas to everyone at NWR and in the audience.